Will the clerk please call the roll?
Ms. Barnhart. Ms. Barnhart is present. Ms. Bartholomew McCoy.
Here.
Ms. Bartholomew McCoy is present. Mr. Baines. Mr. Baines is present. Mr. Blankley. Mr. Blankley is present. Ms. Bonnick. Ms. Bonnick is present. Mr. Brew. Mr. Brew is present. Mr. Burgess. Mr. Burgess is present. Mr. Chardy. Mr. Chardy is present. Mr. Colby. Mr. Colby is present. Mr. Cruz.
Presente.
Mr. Cruz is present. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman. Ms. Delvecchio Hoffman is present. Mrs. DeFlorio. Mrs. DeFlorio is present. Mr. Dondorfer. Mr. Dondorfer is present. Mr. Frazier. Mr. Frazier is present. Ms. Hasman. Ms. Hasman is present. Ms. Hughes Smith. Ms. Hughes Smith is present. Mr. Johns. Mr. Johns is present. Mr. Keller. Mr. Keller is present. Mr. Long. Mr. Long is present. Mr. Mafucci. Mr. Mafucci is present. Mr. McCabe. Mr. McCabe. Mr. McCabe is present.
No problem.
Mr. McCabe is present. Ms. McIntyre. Ms. McIntyre is present. Mr. Milne. Mr. Milne is present. Mr. Morris. Mr. Morris is present. President Roman.
Here.
President Roman is present. Mr. Sinclair. Mr. Sinclair is present. Ms. Smith. Ms. Smith is present. Ms. Vasquez Simmons.
Here.
Ms. Vasquez Simmons present. And Mr. Udelson. Mr. Udelson is present.
Perfect. Thank you. Please stay seated. I would like to welcome Deacon Dick Lombard of St. James Borromeo Church, who has been invited by Legislator McCabe to lead us in a moment of prayer. Welcome, Deacon. Thank you.
We thank you, Lord. Thank you for the gift of this beautiful day. Thank you for the opportunity of all of us gathered here today to minister to others in your name. And so we pray, Lord, we ask you to look with love upon all of those gathered here today to serve the people of this community. Send your spirit upon them, a spirit of service and love. Help them to work in harmony for the greater good of all. Grant them to have the wisdom to communicate effectively, to respect the opinions of others, and the courage to rise above self-interest, and to remember always that our first responsibility is always to those in the greatest need. And we pray all these things in your holy name. Amen.
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 Thank you, Deacon Dick Bartle. We'd like to present you with a certificate on appreciation of the legislature for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Please stand as Legislator McIntyre will now lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Legislator McIntyre. Thank you. Please remain standing. At this time, without objection, we will take agenda item number 23 out of the regular order. Agenda item number 23 is moved by Legislator Udelson and seconded by Legislator Brew, expressing regrets of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of Lucien Morin, former Monroe County Manager and County Executive.
Expressing regret of the Monroe County Legislature on the recent passing of former Monroe County Legislator, County Manager, and County Executive Lucien A. Morin. Be it resolved that the Monroe County Legislature hereby expresses its deepest sympathy at the recent passing of former Monroe County Legislator, County Manager, and County Executive Lucien A. Morin. And whereas County Executive Lucien A. Morin passed away peacefully on September 5th, 2025, at the age of 104. And whereas Lucien Morin was born in 1921 in Massachusetts, He joined the Army Air Corps in World War II, proudly serving until his retirement with the rank of major. After his military service, his employer Key Locks Manufacturing promoted him and moved him from Massachusetts to Rochester, New York, where he lived in the town of Henrietta. Whereas, once settled in Monroe County, County Executive Morin then entered public service. He first served as a Henrietta Town Justice and Town Board member before joining the first ever Monroe County Legislature in 1967, bringing business acumen and practical leadership to the new body. He later became county manager before being elected as the inaugural Monroe County Executive in 1983, a position he held through 1987, providing a blueprint for future county executives to follow his lead. And whereas County Executive Morin was a proud life member of the Reserve Officers Association and active in many veterans and civic organizations, including the American Legion, Veterans of Foreign Wars, 40 and 8, and the Knights of Columbus, showing his dedication to his community long after his time in elected office. And whereas Lucian A. Morin was predeceased by his beloved wife, Elizabeth Morin, adored daughter, Marie Fetzner, cherished stepdaughter, Linda Neeson, and loving sibling, Louis Morin, Francis Morin, and Bella Burns. He is survived by his children, Lucian II, and Linda Kozelski, son-in-law, Charles Fetzner, stepchildren, Larry, Sherry, and Tammy, 7 grandchildren, 5 great-grandchildren, and many more friends and family. He will be missed by all who knew and admired him. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the legislature is hereby requested to forward a copy of this resolution to the bereaved family. This resolution was adopted unanimously, with each legislator rising in his or her place for a moment of silence.
Thank you. Your copies of Day 9, September 9th, 2025 is available through Novus Agenda. Without exception, this journal will stand approved as submitted. Legislators, the referrals submitted to the legislature for the next committee cycle are available on Novus Agenda as well as online. There are several proclamations scheduled for this evening. Mr. Clerk.
Would the Friends of Ganondagan please come forward? Also, President Yver Sharoman, Legislator Michael Udelson, and County Executive Adam J. Bello.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Friends of Ganondagan in honor of Indigenous Peoples Day. Whereas it is the sense of the legislature and the county executive to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas, attendant to such concern, the legislature and county executive are justly proud to honor Friends of Ganondagan. And whereas Friends of Ganondagan, established in 1989, is a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting and advancing the mission of Ganondagan State Historic Site in Victor, New York, a national historic landmark representing the 17th century Seneca town known as the Town of Peace. And whereas the organization has been instrumental in ensuring the values and traditions of the Haudenosaunee people are shared with the broader community by fostering opportunities for cultural understanding, nurturing Native youth, and building meaningful connections across diverse communities. And whereas Ganondagan stands today as a living symbol of resilience, remembrance, and teaching, ensuring the voices and traditions of the Haudenosaunee people continue to guide future generations. And whereas the vision of the Friends of Ganondagan embodies ideals of peace, cooperation, and respect for each other and the natural world. And its members practice these values by serving as vital educators, storytellers, and cultural guardians who uplift Indigenous voices, empower future generations, and strengthen relationships between Native and non-Native communities alike. And whereas on Indigenous Peoples' Day, it is fitting to acknowledge the Friends of Ganondagan for its role in preserving and sharing the wisdom, history, and ongoing contributions of the Seneca and Haudenosaunee people. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Iversha Roman, President of the Monroe County Legislature, and the Monroe County Legislature Democratic Majority do hereby recognize the Friends of Ganondagan for its enduring commitment to education, cultural preservation, and peace, and honors the Haudenosaunee people whose traditions and values continue to shape our community on this 14th day of October, 2025.
I'll make it simple. In our language, Nyawem, which is thank you.
Perfect, thank you. Thank you. All right.
Next. Would Dan Mason please come forward? Also, President Yaversha Roman, legislators Michael Udelson, Steve Brew, Paul Dondorfer, and County Executive Adam J. Bello.
Office of Monroe County Executive Adam J. Bello and the Monroe County Legislature. Whereas Dan Mason's journey is one of Rochester itself, beginning as a young fan chasing autographs and dreaming of working in baseball, and continuing to this day as a Hall of Fame leader whose career has been built on dedication, vision, and a lifelong passion for the game. And whereas after graduating from the University of Notre Dame, Dan joined the Rochester Red Wings in 1990 as an intern, quickly proving his talent and commitment. In 1995, at just 27 years old, he became the youngest general manager in AAA baseball, launching a career that has made him one of the most respected executives in the sport and a defining figure in Rochester sports history. And whereas under his leadership, the Red Wings have thrived, earning national recognitions such as the John H. Johnson President's Award, the Bob Freitas Award, and the Larry McPhail Award, the Prism Award, and the Ballpark Digest Ongoing Excellence Award, while also capturing the 1997 International League Governors Cup Championship. Dan himself has been named International League Executive of the Year 3 times, reflecting his skill in baseball operations and his ability to lead with creativity, consistency, and integrity. And whereas Dan's belief that baseball is a memory-making business has guided every aspect of his work, from the transition from Silver Stadium to Innovative Field to the countless moments of joy he has shared with fans along the concourse and in the stands. His induction into the Red Wings Hall of Fame on August 16th, 2025, is a fitting tribute to more than 3 decades of extraordinary leadership and a celebration of the countless ways he has enriched the Red Wings, the Rochester community, and the game of baseball itself. Now, therefore, we, Monroe County Executive Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Legislature President Iversha Roman, Majority Leader Michael Udelson, Republican Leader Steve Brew, and the members of the Monroe County Legislature do hereby proclaim October 14th, 2025 to be a time to recognize Dan Mason on his induction into the Rochester Red Wings Hall of Fame. And in his words, let's have some fun.
Wow. Well, as a kid who grew up in Webster, where life is worth living, obviously, never in my wildest dreams could I have imagined something like this happening to me. So this is very humbling, to be honest with you. I'd like to thank County Executive Bello and all of you. You are tremendous public servants, and I applaud you for making our community a better place to live, work, and play. And in some small way, I view my job, my calling, to do the same thing, to make Rochester a better place, make Monroe County a better place. And I hope that that I've been able to do that over the years, thanks to the great staff that we have at 1 Maurice Silver Way. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my boss of many years, Naomi Silver, our president, our CEO, our COO, and Maurice Silver, our director of innovation, for letting me do what I love to do. I love this town and I love this team. And it's my honor to do what I get to do every single day. To get something like this is truly icing on the cake. So thank you to Naomi for letting me do what I love to do. I would also be remiss if I didn't thank my lovely wife Sheila for also allowing me to do what I love to do, because I'm not home a whole lot in the summertime, and she allows me that opportunity to do that. And also like to thank my son Cam, who's here today, and my daughter Anna, who couldn't be here today because she's in Charleston, but that's not as cool as Rochester and Monroe County. But anyways, thank you very much for this. It really means a tremendous amount to me as a Rochester kid, as a Monroe County kid, and I'm very blessed to have had the career that I have and to be able to do it in the hometown that I love. Thank you and have a great night.
Would Henry Padron Morales please come forward? Also President Yversha Roman.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Henry Padron Morales. Whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas, attendant to such concern, I am justly proud to honor Henry Padron Morales. And whereas, Monroe County is deeply honored to have Henry Padron Morales as an energetic and inspiring presence, whose lifelong dedication to education, culture, and community has uplifted and unified us all. And whereas Mr. Padron Morales was born in Puerto Rico, parents in Brooklyn and the Bronx, and later moved to Rochester, where he completed his secondary education at East High School, laying roots in our community that would grow into years of enduring service. And whereas, after a rewarding career in Rochester schools as a beloved kindergarten teacher in the dual language immersion program, he chose to continue nurturing young minds and diverse voices, not by retiring quietly, but by co-founding Hippocampo Children's Books, a multilingual bookstore that celebrates cultural representation and empowers readers of all backgrounds. And whereas, through Hippocampo, Mr. Padron Morales infuses the bookstore with warmth, energy, and heart, stocking titles in 13 languages, transforming the shop into a vibrant community hub filled with flags of global heritage and honoring every story and identity. And whereas, beyond bookselling, Mr. Padron Morales has been a steadfast cultural organizer, founding or helping launch critical institutions such as the Spanish Action Coalition, Salmorejo Poetry and Percussion Ensemble, the Puerto Rican Youth Development and Resource Center, the National Congress for Puerto Rican Rights, and the Rochester Latino Theater Company. And whereas, as a community curator for the Visual Studies Workshop, he has curated artistic programs that highlight Puerto Rican and Latino culture in Rochester, nurturing meaningful dialogue and strengthening cultural ties across generations. And whereas Henry Padron Morales embodies boundless energy, visionary leadership, and unwavering commitment to celebrating diversity, nurturing young minds, and fostering cultural belonging. We are truly grateful for the stories he has brought to life, the lives he has touched, and the vibrant legacy he continues to build. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Yversha Roman, President of the Monroe County Legislature, with heartfelt appreciation and profound respect, do hereby recognize Henry Padron Morales for his lifetime of service, leadership, and love for our community on this 14th day of October, 2025.
I will unabashedly put in a plug. If you haven't visited Hipocampo Children's Bookstore, it's at 638 South Avenue in the south wedge of the city. Secondly, thank you very much for the kind words. Minister Malik's father and I would see each other at Midtown Plaza often, and he got me to understand the concept of being a duologist. Duology. If you don't know about it, look it up. And lastly, support independent bookstores, support small business. Don't go to the big alphabet letter or the big boxes. Support us. We're the heartbeat of this community. And it's very important that we be aware of this and make it be a moment of duology. Do it. Get in your car and drive to our stores and support us. So with that, I close and thank you very much for the kind words and the good energy.
Ready? Would Major Edward Krenzer please come forward? Also, President Yaversha Roman, legislators Michael Udelson, Steve Brew, and County Executive Adam J. Bello.
Whereas Major Edward Krenzer has faithfully served the Monroe County Sheriff's Office for an extraordinary 46 years, dedicating his life and career to the safety and well-being of our community. In the demanding field of corrections, he worked in every area of the Monroe County Jail, earning the respect of colleagues and maintaining peace in an environment that can often be unpredictable. His steady leadership, professionalism, and fairness have left a lasting impression on all who worked alongside him. And whereas, through his exceptional expertise, leadership, and dedication, Major Krenzer rose through the ranks of the Sheriff's Office. He was promoted to corporal in 1987, sergeant in 1990, lieutenant in 1997, captain in 2003, and ultimately major in 2004. Each step in his career reflected not only his dedication, but also the deep trust and respect he earned from peers and superiors alike. And whereas, beyond his duties in the Sheriff's Office, Major Krenzer is well known for his ability to bring people together and his commitment to the community. He played an important role in projects such as facility-wide system upgrades and also took part in community service efforts like organizing annual holiday gift baskets. Whether leading major initiatives or assisting with small acts of kindness, his commitment to service never wavered. And whereas Major Edward Krenzer embodies the one-team philosophy that defines the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, his presence, leadership, and example helped shape a future of professionalism and care that strengthened the agency and made it a stronger resource for the community. Throughout his service and throughout his distinguished career, he demonstrated the highest calling of public service, dedication to others before self. Now, therefore, we, Yaversha Roman, President, Paul Dondorfer, Legislator District 9, and Dave Long, Legislator District 16, on behalf of the Monroe County Legislature, do hereby recognize and honor and congratulate Major Edward Krenzer on his well-earned retirement from the Monroe County Sheriff's Office.
Wow. I'm truly humbled by this, and this will be with me for quite a long time. Thank you all for your service and the difficult job that you do. Now it's time for me to ride off into the sunset. Thank you very much.
Dr. Walter Cooper. Would Dr. Walter Cooper please come forward? Also, President Yaversha Roman, Legislator Ricky Frazier, and County Executive Adam J. Bello.
Yeah.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Dr. Walter Cooper. Whereas it is the sense of the legislature and the county executive to honor and celebrate the people and organizations that make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas attendant to such concern, the legislature and county executive are proud to honor Dr. Walter Cooper. And whereas Monroe County is proud to call Dr. Walter Cooper, born July 18th, 1928, one of its own, and celebrates his extraordinary life as a trailblazing scientist, educator, humanitarian, and tireless advocate for justice. And whereas Dr. Cooper made history in 1956 as the first African American to earn a PhD in physical chemistry from the University of Rochester, paving the way for future generations. And whereas his distinguished career at Eastman Kodak, where he earned 3 patents and contributed to groundbreaking research, reflected his brilliance, perseverance, and dedication to innovation. And whereas, beyond his professional achievements, Dr. Cooper devoted his life to building a stronger, more equitable Monroe County, serving as president of NAACP of Greater Rochester, co-founding the Urban League of Rochester, serving on the board of the Baden Street Settlement, and championing programs like Head Start through Action for a Better Community. And whereas, his leadership reached the highest levels in education as a member of the New York State Board of Regents, where he worked tirelessly to ensure every child had the opportunity to learn and thrive. And whereas Dr. Cooper has always understood that our community is part of a larger world, fostering a sister city relationship with Bamako, Mali, and creating opportunities for cultural exchange, friendship, and mutual growth. And whereas today, Dr. Cooper remains actively involved, including spending part of his 97th birthday speaking passionately with the Rochester City School District about the urgent need for meaningful change in our schools. And whereas his lifelong dedication has left an indelible legacy in our county, honored through the renaming of School Number 10 to the Dr. Walter Cooper Academy, and through the countless lives he has uplifted through education, opportunity, and empowerment. We are truly honored to have him as a guiding light in our county's history, and we commit to carrying forward the legacy he so generously built. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Executive, Yaversha Roman, President of the Monroe County Legislature, Ricky Frazier, Legislator District 28, and the Monroe County Democratic Majority, with deep gratitude and profound respect, do hereby recognize Dr. Walter Cooper for his lifetime of service, leadership, and love for our community on this 14th day of October, 2025.
Thank you very much for this honor and recognition. My motivation lifelong has been to elevate young people to positions of honor and integrity and environmental concerns. During my activities, I have wondered, what did I learn as a youngster that motivated me to seek and to participate with others, hopefully that they could make solid contributions to the society in which they lived. I was fortunate. I came from a household where my great aunt, born 1880, right after the end of the Civil War, was able to get a college education in southwestern Georgia. My mother idolized this great aunt, and with her own children and with a husband who was born in Florida and handicapped because he did not have a day of education, but in the household of five sisters and one brother, the answer from our father was, listen to your mother on educational issues. She will set you on the right path. So out of these 7 children, 6 went to college. We had no money, but we had intellectual interest, and we were actually honored by being introduced to our library system at age 8. We didn't have much in the household, but we always had books. Books under the couch, books on the bed, books under the bed. My oldest sister, Irma, was a member of the Book of the Month Club in the late 1930s. And when Hitler invaded Poland, September 1, 1939, it was Irma led a discussion on the implications of this latest war. It was a beautiful experience because I was in an intellectual environment as a youngster in a household. So in 1944, in my English class, my term paper, which I discovered and read and investigated, was on the role of the African American in the Revolutionary War. I knew in 1944 that Crispus Attucks had lost his life in the Boston Massacre in 1773. Peter Salem and Solomon Poor had fought at Bunker Hill, Concord, and Lexington. I didn't get that information out of my general text. I got it from researching the library to find as much information as possible on the African American. And today, I taught in the old St. Simon's, I taught African American history for a period of about 6 years. Moses Gilbert, the Cooper sisters, and others were my students. Most of those students ended up being contributors to the overall health of this community. I ask today, and you can ask the ministers, as I mentioned to one minister, I said, can you imagine Jewish children going to a synagogue and not being taught Jewish history? Our children go to our churches and taught not one line of African American history. A people without a historical memory are doomed, and that's where we are. And we are not going to get a greater output out of our educational system until we focus on the family. At the end of the Civil War, 97% of Black children lived in a household with 2 adults. And according to the Moynihan report in 1965, only 70% lived. And then later on, data taken on Rochester in about 1992 or 94, only 24%. And you cannot create scholars, you cannot create the future for children unless you have a home that loves and supports their education. That comes out of the famous Coleman report published in 1996, a 10-year study on the role of the family in the education of children. Coleman started his studies at Johns Hopkins, and he ended up at the University of Chicago. And it still holds, based upon my own individual experience. The family is the primary entity in the education of children. Here we are in Rochester with all kinds of educational problems, and you have a Title I parents organization and no meetings. No meetings. The most critical element in education of our children is the family. No one else can do it but the family. And I speak from personal experience. Out of the 7 children in my family, with a father who didn't have a day of education and a mother who had 9 years, but she was brilliant. She followed the education pattern of my great aunt, Ida Sears Lowry. Children have to have creative models to guide them in the educational pathway. And I would hope that funding for programs will emphasize the family, because out of the family comes the creative children and those who will be contributors to this society. We kid ourselves when we think otherwise. As I tell parents nowadays, if you want change in the school system, contact your senators, Gillibrand and Schumer, and ask them to have a look at the Education Act of 1965 and remind the parents and remind the school districts of the role of parents in the education of children. But I really appreciate this honor. I worked hard for the idea of a new generation of young African Americans and others. And hopefully, somehow these dreams may be realized. But I'm 97 years old, and I hope before I reach 100 that these dreams will be realized. But I want to thank you. Thank you.
Just a few more.
Keep going.
Yep.
Would Charles the Natural Murray please come forward? Also, President Yaversha Roman, legislators Michael Udelson, Steve Brew, and County Executive Adam J. Bello.
The Office of Monroe County Executive Adam J. Bello and the Monroe County Legislature. Whereas Charles the Natural Murray, world champion boxer and proud Rochester resident, has been inducted into the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame's class of 2025, joining a celebrated roster of athletes whose accomplishments have left a lasting mark on the sport, and was further honored by the Rochester Boxing Hall of Fame. And whereas Murray rose from Rochester's own recreation centers to the pinnacle of professional boxing, capturing the IBF light welterweight championship and inspiring countless fans with his natural skill, resilience, and determination inside the ring. And whereas the true measure of Murray's greatness lies not only in championship belts, but in his choice to return home, where he built a lasting legacy through his gym, mentoring young fighters, and teaching them discipline, confidence, and respect. And whereas his steady instruction, hit, turn, move, served as both boxing rhythm and life philosophy, guiding Rochester youth to carry themselves with self-awareness, humility, and purpose while instilling lessons that extend far beyond the ring. And whereas Charles Murray's impact on Rochester endures in the lives he has touched, the community he has strengthened, and the inspiration he continues to provide as a champion, mentor, and hometown hero. Now, therefore, we, Monroe County Executive Adam J. Bello, Monroe County Legislature President Yversha Roman, Majority Leader Michael Udelson, Republican Leader Steve Brew, and the members of the Monroe County Legislature do hereby proclaim October 14th, 2025 to be a time to recognize Charles the Natural Murray on his induction into the Atlantic City Boxing Hall of Fame, class of 2025.
Thank you very, very much. I'm not a big speech giver. I just want to, where my kids at?
All right, good.
Yeah, I want to make sure that they see me up here so that they get in their minds what hard work and dedication does for you. My man Dave, his name is back then, named Dave Irons. He won the maybe that started boxing, and I thank you for that. And thank you for the award. It's been a good month. It's one of the things I want to thank my wife for being my wife. I mean, it's not easy. I'm pretty sure it's not easy. I mean, I'm not one of the people that she's adapted to me more than anything. You know, it's not easy. It's not easy being her, but I thank you for being my wife. Derek, I appreciate you for the argument that we had when we started boxing. My best friends, and we love them to death. And my kids over there, y'all see them over there. Fetch. I really thank you, Lord. I really appreciate it. I want to cry, so I'm about to go. But I thank you very, very much for the proclamation. Thank you very much. Take care.
Would members of the Southeast Area Coalition please come forward? Also, President Yversha Roman, legislators Linda Hasman, Albert Blankley, Rachel Barnhart, Santos Cruz, Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, and Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Southeast Area Coalition. Whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations which make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas, attendant to such concern, the legislature is justly proud to honor the Southeast Area Coalition and its dedication to our neighborhoods, local businesses, and community members. And whereas in 1970, the South Side Coalition officially became the Southeast Area Coalition after years of service to Rochester's South Side communities. The Southeast Area Coalition began supporting business association organizing, neighborhood planning and commercial revitalization, community education, and more. And whereas 10 years later, the Southeast Area Coalition expanded their services even more. In 1982, grants were made available for eligible homeowners in targeted areas. In 1984, they began offering crime prevention activities, establishing a task force to provide input on traffic management. And whereas their years of advocacy and organizing efforts yielded great success in the 90s, multiple commercial organizations began, such as the Mount Hope Business Association, Village Gate Merchants Cooperative, the Upper East End Association, as well as the Culver University and East Association, and multiple others. And whereas the Southeast Area Coalition has also formed task forces for several commercial strips comprised of key stakeholders and expanded their housing grants to the entire city of Rochester, allowing assistance for all community members rather than just those who reside in the Southeast. And whereas today the Southeast Area Coalition continues their efforts in furthering their mission of promoting a higher quality life for the city residents and connecting neighbors and community members with essential resources. And whereas the Southeast Area Coalition has provided invaluable services to neighborhoods and residents of the city of Rochester for over 6 decades. The coalition's unwavering support of our neighborhoods and community members has impacted the residents of Monroe County and will continue to for generations to come. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Ivesha Roman, President, Linda Hasman, Legislator, District 23, Albert Blankley, Assistant Majority Leader, District 24, Rachel Barnhart, Legislator, District 17, Santos C. Cruz, Legislator, District 21, Mercedes Vasquez Simmons, Legislator, District 22, and Carolyn Delvecchio Hoffman, Assistant Majority Leader, District 25, do hereby honor the Southeast Area Coalition on this 14th day of October, 2025.
I have my own Vanna White. It's lovely. Thank you guys all so very much. My name is Mike Evans. I am the Executive Director of the Southeast Area Coalition. Actually, this week marks my 5th year with the agency. I love what I do. I'm proud of my crew. It fuels everything that we do. We have a tool lending library. It's $25 a year, gets you access to all 1,300 of our tools, unlimited times a year. We do free DIY classes and repair crew days to try to make sure to help people who have issues to repair things, keeping it out of the landfill. And finally, we are we just released our mobile unit of the tool shed, which will be going into the different quadrants of the city Monday through Thursday and parking at one of the R centers in the city, getting our tools into the hands of people who have transportation hurdles. I'm super proud of this. It's very humbling to be with all of you. Thank you to all of our elected officials for their constant support. We cannot do it without you guys. We need you. We need the money. Love you all so much. Be well. Thank you.
Would Elizabeth McDade please come forward? Also, President Yvers Roman and Legislator Susan Hughes Smith.
The Monroe County Legislature recognizes Rochester energy efficiency and weatherization. Whereas it is the sense of this legislature to honor and celebrate the people and organizations which make Monroe County a better place to live. And whereas attendant to such concern, the legislature is justly proud to honor the 10th anniversary of Rochester Energy Efficiency and Weatherization, RENEW, making our communities' homes safer, healthier, and more energy efficient. And whereas RENEW, an initiative of the Rochester Area Community Foundation, empowers our county's families and community members to strengthen our sustainability, advance environmental justice, and reduce our region's carbon footprint. And whereas to date, RENEW has served hundreds of eligible families throughout Monroe County and has worked on over 900 projects and eliminated more than 11,285 tons of carbon. On average, Renew's clients see a 21% average savings on fuel costs, better physical and mental health, and reduced symptoms for those living with pre-existing respiratory conditions. And whereas through its position as a climate fund, Renew further serves our community, allowing residents to calculate their daily carbon footprint and offset it by donating to Renew, who keeps all donations received local. In 2024, Renew's Climate Fund was recognized in the 2024 Environmental Innovation Awards from Seneca Park Zoo. And whereas Renew's expert community partners, who possess a range of experience in fields such as community development, housing, environmental justice and health, and weatherization, work tirelessly to assess and identify what actions are best for Monroe County's homeowners, landlords, and tenants. And whereas Rochester Energy Efficiency and Weatherization's unwavering commitment to reducing our community's carbon footprint and improving energy efficiency, as well as its support of homeowners and residents throughout Monroe County, is a testament to their dedication to a healthier, stronger, more sustainable region. Now, therefore, let it be known that we, Iversha Roman and Susan Hughes Smith, Legislator, District 14, do hereby honor Rochester Energy Efficiency and Weatherization, Renew, on this 14th day of October, 2025.
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth McDade, and I'm the Director of Renew, and I am so grateful to be here this evening. Renew is successful because we have worked with multiple community partners across Monroe County to assist low to moderate income homeowners in every single town in this county, make their homes more energy efficient, healthier, and safer. And when you really think about what people need to be successful in life, having a safe place to live, and to make sure that their families feel safe is really an incredibly important and tangible work. And I am grateful that we get to do it. And thank you so much also for the funding that we get from the Monroe County ARPA Fund, as well as from ESL Charitable Foundation. We have multiple community partners across this county that have worked together to collectively solve problems that we could not do by ourselves. And so thank you very much for this. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I just want to thank everyone for giving grace for this extended celebration, as we will likely not be able to do proclamations in the upcoming months due to renovations. So with that being said, thank you all. It was important to celebrate the individuals that make Monroe County a great place to live. With that, we'll now hold the public forum. Thank you to everyone who has signed up for the public forum. We ask that everyone maintain decorum during this time. We will not tolerate any disruptions during this meeting from the gallery. A second warning will be issued before a deputy will be asked to remove you from the gallery. Oh, we have several people registered to address the legislature. Mr. Clerk.
If you require assistance, a deputy is available to assist you in approaching the lectern. I will call 3 people forward at one time. Each speaker will have 2 minutes in which to address the legislature. Please do not bring up any signs or props. Do not single out any legislator. Please conclude when the buzzer sounds. Thank you for your cooperation. Our first 3 speakers are Terrence Schnurr, Paul Frisella, and Kevin Lockhart.
Good evening. The first time I addressed a public meeting in this room was on Thursday, November 7th, 1991, 2 days after the voters in Monroe County rejected a ridiculous legislative redistricting gerrymander, and the day after Majority Leader Benet suggested that the voters hadn't understood what they were voting against. I came here to assure the legislature that when we voted no, we meant no, and to urge that the next redistricting plan included districts that were compact, contiguous, represented communities of interest, and to the maximum degree possible, respected municipal and natural boundaries. I also urged that the legislature end the practice, which it still hasn't, of dividing the concentrated Latino population in Northeast Rochester amongst several districts. In 1992, in 2001, and in 2011, legislature generally ignored these concerns. So the second time I addressed a meeting in this room, it was Legislative Redistricting Commission in March of 2022. And I urged the same things. And if anyone in the legislature or the administration had respected at all their duties under the charter, I probably would have only spoken a couple times over the next few months. But instead, you carried the process on farcically for almost 10 months of intrigue and shenanigans before acceding to a map that was no better than most of those that had come before it. I'm here tonight to urge you now, when very few of you know what your interests will be in 2031 and 2032, to reform Section 212 of the county charter. I think I'm out of time, so I won't go on. Thank you.
Thank you.
Around July of 2024, a man verbally threatened me in the big waiting room of the downtown Rochester courts. A person of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office did nothing to help when I reported it. So don't believe the claim the Sheriff's Office made at the last meeting, namely that their service is good. They also failed to prove this claim. Vagrancy, loitering, homelessness, and harassment of citizens remains a serious problem in downtown Rochester, as well as bikes of all kinds illegally on sidewalks. A person from local government showed cold indifference to this, saying we have bigger fish to fry. I mentioned the city concerns to a New York State office. Likely nothing was done because I have seen no improvement. Religious fanatics are harassing citizens at local parades more than ever. This must be addressed firmly, and I reported it. All concerns mentioned here should be firmly addressed without fail.
We're not a sanctuary county, and I came here to say thank you, ICE, for moving the criminals. Our families here in Monroe County have given far too much. They've sacrificed far too much. The family in Irondequoit, whose children were tortured and murdered in front of their parents, and then the parents were killed by an illegal immigrant. How about the illegal immigrants that come in and steal, kidnap children and traffic them to Chicago? This legislature has crossed the line. I already put you guys on notice in Webster because I told you guys, if you cross the line, there's going to be consequences. And those consequences are that our legislators in Webster are not going to be reelected. I have a page with 9,400 people in it. I guarantee Frank Giardi and Mark Johns are not going to be reelected as a result of this.
Point of order. Do not.
You are out of order.
No.
Look at me right now. You got to
Lockhart, you are out of order. If you do not, you will be asked to remove.
Thank you. Stand against
Turn off his microphone.
Thank you.
Please.
Point of order. Overrule.
Turn off his microphone, please.
Thank you.
You absolute fool.
Kevin, thank you.
Please remove him.
Kevin,
No,
thank you.
it's not. No, it's time to go, Kevin. Yes. Yes.
You're violating my rights.
Go ahead.
To say.
Thank you.
Because you don't like what I have to say. You absolute fools. You're elected to represent us, the sheriffs. You are elected to represent us.
Do not.
And
and you don't do that, it's my job to self-govern and self-administrate as I see fit.
Thank you. Please remove him. Continue to remove him from the chambers. That, I believe that's a threat. Let that be noted. Law Department, thank you very much. I think it is. All right. Well. Yeah, all right. I understand that there was some disorder, some lack of decorum in the meeting. We're gonna call the meeting back to order. We will take note of the actions of the speaker. Thank you very much. The next three speakers, Mr.
Our
Clerk.
next three speakers are Kara Fink, Tyrus Adams, and Maria Gonzalez.
Welcome, thank you. Oh, turn it back on.
An MSW student. I work with adolescents and young adults, and a common issue that I have seen is smartphone addiction and its impact on mental health. Many of my clients recognize their addiction, but they don't have the tools or education to break it. And the truth is, most of us are in the same boat. We're expected to keep our phones on hand for almost everything, completing work tasks, turning in assignments, paying bills, even ordering at restaurants. These small devices are running our lives. Research shows that heavy smartphone use, especially social media, is linked to higher rates of anxiety and depression. Young adults who spend more than 3 hours a day on social media are twice as likely to experience negative mental health symptoms. Mental illness is at a historic high, and phone use is not unrelated. Social media fuels division and weakens our ability to connect meaningfully with one another. But the solution isn't as simple as just deleting social media apps. This dependency is by design. Social media companies profit from keeping us hooked through endless scrolling and dopamine triggering notifications. And because schools, workplaces, and businesses all rely on apps, disconnecting feels nearly impossible. We may not be able to mediate the way that social media companies run their platforms, but we can promote environments where citizens can opt for simpler technology without fear of missing out. Smartphone addiction is not just a personal problem, it's a public health and societal crisis. Rochester has an opportunity to lead the way by championing education on digital responsibility and by promoting workplace, school, and business policies that reduce smartphone dependency. The more we create spaces where people can step away from their device, the more we empower our community to break free from this addiction. Thank you.
Thank you. There you go. Welcome, thank you. Yeah, go ahead, you're fine.
With the clock.
Yep.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have to apologize for the conduct we just saw in here, which I really don't like.
Thank you.
Especially that kind of a form in these days and times. Yes, we do have enough problems, but there's a better way of showing it. I lived through times that most of you folks don't even understand, and it was called racism at its finest. But I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about a bigger and larger problem that's hitting our seniors, a lot of minorities, and a few other groups throughout Monroe County. And it's called this tax mess. These foreclosures on these properties are getting out of control. This week, we saved a lot of people homes due to a few violations. You guys know somebody got to take care of this tax department downstairs, and whoever's ahead of it, they need to be checked. Because for one, they're violating a lot of people's 14th Amendments. And most of you guys know what the 14th Amendment is. At least I hope every last one of you that was elected here knows what it is. It's called due process of law. And that's something that's not happening in the tax department downstairs. I talked with the city, they got their game together. They finally realized before they sent out letters, they actually know now to go knock on people's doors to see if they physically live there. And that's what's got to be done here. A lady lost her house due to the extent, we got it back now, but it was due to the extent the bank did not notify her that she had to still pay taxes. And we're talking about people that are seniors and they got enough problems and they don't need new ones. Did anybody tell you about the young man that killed his mother in a nursing home because of tax foreclosure? They didn't tell you all about that, but that's why it was hushed. So I'm looking at this side because this side got the idea what to do. They need your help to finish it all. Give them the helping hand. Our seniors need help. These young folks need help because they cannot afford the rent when they can live in their apartment or their house much cheaper. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Maria Gonzalez. I came here last month talking about Delphi Rice and the problems and the funding they had. Suddenly, October 10th, they had a shut down some funding because they couldn't afford for the homeless people they're taking care. So a lot of homeless people are in the streets, no place to go, and no mental health. Okay? So we got to keep track of the nonprofits, agencies that they call themselves nonprofits. Okay? And you're giving out their money over there and check it out who's doing their jobs and do the paper trail. Okay? Because it's not right when a organization is doing their rights and taking care of the community and they're not getting enough funds and they have to shut it down. And now we got more problems going on now. Starting October 10th, they already went by and it's proof that the people be giving me papers about Delphi rights, and they need help because we need help keeping the homeless out of the streets so they can get a better home and don't making all this construction about $1,600 a rent that they cannot afford, okay? The housing authority, they don't have enough income to take care of them, okay? So we have to do something about it. Do the paper trail. For those nonprofits, they say they're helping people and they're not. Take the proof and give that money to the people who are doing the right thing, okay? We have to come up with a solution.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next three speakers are Lori Thomas, Dr. Fred Thomas, and Tiana Johnson.
No.
Well, good evening. I have been involved in politics since I was 15 years old. I have protested in local, state, and federal arenas for education and social issues. I came to the realization a while back that much of my time was spent in vain, which is why I decided to back away from politics. Unfortunately, things have become so illicit that I found it necessary to return to my political advocacy for the people. I chose to support individuals for office because I believed that they were honorable and capable of executing their duties. I realize now that I was mistaken. When the county executive expressed his sorrow at the death of a supremacist, I understood that this is a body of supremacists, believing that they are better than the people they represent. I have worked with, spoke with, campaigned with, and for a few of you. I know that I am more knowledgeable than most of you simply because I am older, have more political experience, and in some cases have a higher level of education. Yet you think yourselves better than me. You also think yourselves better than poor people, better than prostitutes, better than the homeless, the drug addicted, and the mentally ill, and the uneducated. You believe that we need your guidance, your help, your pity, when what we deserve is an electorate that understands the reality of poverty, who knows that our tax dollars collected from the property we own, the things we buy, the salaries we work for, and the general living we must do in order to provide your salaries, your standard of living, which is much higher than ours. You receive your salaries from our tax dollars, yet you make corporations, construction companies, out-of-town investors, and yourselves richer while we live in poverty, unable to afford the luxury you revel in. Supremacy isn't a racist attitude. It is an evil attitude. It is time we call it what it is. To think that you are better than the people who pay your salaries is ignorant, and the people deserve an intelligent, humane, and respectful electorate, not an evil one. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. I'm Dr. Fred Johnson, Thomas, but that's all right. Johnson, the senior pastor for the First Genesis Baptist Church and present CEO for First Genesis Development Corporation. And I am glad to be back in front of this great August of a group of representatives. I was here in 2024 and seeking support for the 22 single-family homes, first-time home buyer program. And I'm happy to be here again to solicit your support for some additional funding for that project. 22 single-family homes, first-time home buyers, affordable, and it's going to transform the community. We're not just building homes, we're building families, we're building communities and creating generational wealth for individuals who normally would not have participated as part of the American dream of owning a home. So thank you for the support this evening as it goes before your consideration. And we're looking forward to really transforming Hudson and Upper Falls for the greater. Thank you.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. So my name is Tiana Johnson. I am a human and civil rights champion and lifelong Monroe County resident. I'm one of the executive committee members of our local NAACP, proud VIP with the Children's Agenda. I volunteered with Ready in the earlier days, and I am the former site coordinator and proud alumni for the Parent Leadership Training Institute. Family voice and family empowerment is something that I treasure, that I hold near and dear. I'm so thankful to have heard Mr. Walter Cooper. I didn't know he would be here tonight, but this is kind of adding some reinforcement around what he was saying around family being the important structure around education. I'll even go so far as to say society. But family voice and family empowerment is something that I treasure and hold near and dear to my heart, as I know you do too, County Executive Bello, because you're a staple at the PLTI ceremonies. But this year, my family faced some difficulty and I sought the assistance from FACT. CPS was also involved. However, both agencies were unable to meet the needs of my family and failed us due to implicit bias and poor communication with me and amongst themselves. This resulted in the further breakdown of my family, ultimately me being alienated from my children. I was denied due process during the CPS investigation, as it was indicated and closed with haste when I said I wanted a lawyer, which we are entitled to during that process. They closed the case immediately. So I'm calling on the county to closely examine these practices of these two agencies, as well as all the other agencies that aim to help families. They directly impact our quality of life, so they need to be given more training. The data shows that of the approximately 7,000 cases that are investigated, roughly about 5,000 go unfounded, which means that's about roughly 5,000 families that's been disrupted, placed under stigma for no reason at all. So the damage is done with my family, but we can avoid it with other families. So I'm calling for more training and closer examination. Okay. Thank you.
Our next three speakers are Amber Brown, Sam Fideli, and Abdul Bounds.
I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Color Fairport Green. We are so grateful that the Monroe County Legislature has approved $5,000 matching grants for school district food waste diversion programs. My school district received a grant, and I am so glad that it can help defray the cost of the composting program that was implemented in our elementary schools. Please be sure to open the new round of school grants as early as possible so that districts can work them into their plan for this year. Composting is important to many of us in Fairport. For those of us who live in the village, we have been fortunate that our village government has run a successful drop-off composting program since October of 2021 and is consistently diverting 2 to 2.5 tons of organics every month. It's not complicated. There are bins located on the north and south sides of the village. Village residents drop off their food scraps when it is convenient for them, and Impact Earth collects the materials every Wednesday. I know that data is important for implementing next steps for the county composting program that Monroe County residents have been asking you for since July of 2022. Fairport and Impact Earth can provide you with compelling data. I would also like to note that sometimes when a thing is straightforward, like providing a composting drop-off program, it can be more efficient to look to a community that has been leading the charge to see what works. Monroe County does not have to look far to see other communities like Fairport or those in Onondaga and Tompkins counties who have had success. My team has 2 requests. We ask that multiple public and private composting facilities be built within our county, and along with that, a variety of options be made available to residents so that they might choose from composting at home, dropping off organics to a central site, or having food scraps picked up from their residents. We ask the county to pair this action with a robust education campaign to ensure success. Secondly, we ask the county to designate a team of climate professionals, which would include a director with the authority of the executive to bring a multitude of departments together and prioritize systems change. Thank you.
Thank you. Who's next? Madam?
Good evening.
Evening.
I'm old. My name is Sam Fideli, and I commend each of you for stepping up to serve our community. I believe you are true patriots, Republicans and Democrats. To begin each meeting, you pledge allegiance to the flag, espousing loyalty to the republic to which it stands, a republic enshrined in our Constitution. I come to you this evening speaking for a group of retired professionals who fear that something is amiss in America. We've seen masked men in military gear on our dime and our name, cruelly snatching children from their beds in the middle of the night. We've seen traditional allies and alliances pushed aside in favor of nations known for aggression and human abuse. We've seen universities and private businesses strong-armed to the whims of the federal government. We've seen a priest shot in the face with a rubber bullet and fellow citizens thrown to the ground, zip-tied, and arrested for expressing their peaceful free speech. Here in Monroe County, we've seen a family's home invaded for the crime of having its roof repaired. We've heard a small business owner panic because he can't obtain the tea that constitutes the bulk of his business. We've seen former colleagues afraid to speak out in public because they fit the profile of those being actively hunted. These and other abuses of the Constitution are deeply disturbing. The blood pressure of America is spiking. The level of tension and anxiety is unprecedented and unacceptable. We urge you, in the defense of the Constitution we cherish, to scream our message up your party's chain of command. Thank you. I'm over time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, legislators. I'm
Good
back
evening.
again. Democrat, Republican. Thank you, ICE, for getting the bad guys and the bad hombres out of my community. Chicago, Illinois, the African-American community has stood up. The federal government is doing nothing wrong. All he's doing is getting people, again, they have them in a database. You came into the country illegally. Democrats, I asked you this question, right? How about you, I dropped 5,000 illegals off at your house, right? How about you fit their healthcare bill? How about you let them sleep in your child's bed? How about you get, again, another thing, Democrats, again, how about you let them bring in their current customs and norms to this country? ICE been taking rapists and child murderers and all up off the street. But once again, you got these people over here who don't have common sense. Once again, who don't have common sense. My Republican base as well is too. You guys have been weak. Where are you guys? Again, there was a hotel here with illegals here. Where did they magically disappear to? Once again, crickets. Can we please stop watching CNN and MSNBC? Can we please use common sense? The president said what he said. The Constitution is the Constitution. Once again, I support ICE and I support everything that the federal government is doing. It is affecting me. We have to pay the bill. Taxpayers, the ones who, like I said, barely even making it. Some of us can't even freaking pay our rent. But again, you people want to support illegal immigration. Our state's health system said undocumented immigrants get health care. But the American citizen and my man that's a veteran on the streets that's homeless can't get a house, but y'all give them health care? Can we make it make sense, Democrats? Like I said, the Democrat is the devil. The devil's a lie.
Thank you.
Our next public forum speaker is Alan Blair.
Welcome.
I'm the last one you have to suffer through. Hi, folks. Alan Blair from District 23 here to talk to you once again about the Gloria Drive landfill. Several months ago, I was one of 7 people who spoke about this issue when we found out that plans were being made to recap the landfill without considering methane capture. We were concerned because phase 1 of the climate action plan approved by this very legislative body specifically called for effective capping of the landfill as a high-impact short-term implementation action. Now, I understand that after our testimony, the legislature voted to explore methane capture options for recapping the landfill. I'm here today to remind this body that we're still watching to see what happens. By we, I mean not just the 7 climate activists that originally spoke here. I also mean the 1,000 or so people in Greater Rochester who are active in the climate movement. And I also mean the much larger percentage of people who are sympathetic to our goals. We're aware that the Gloria Drive landfill is the single largest source of greenhouse gas emissions in Monroe County's public sector, with 13% of its emissions. For this reason, we see the capping of the landfill as an important test of whether the county will live up to the terms of the climate action plan it approved. We're still assuming that the legislator's initial failure to consider effective methane capture at this site was a mistake, and that the county is moving forward in good faith. We'd be naive, though, not to consider the possibility that the county will jettison the climate action plan as soon as it becomes convenient. That's why we're watching. When the final decision is made, we'll be on hand to give kudos or condemnation, although we will not scream obscenities at you. Which message we deliver and which consequences come with it is completely up to you.
Thank you. Got it. Okay, thank you very much.
This concludes the public forum.
All right, thank you. It is, we often recognize former legislators and current, from former legislators that are in chambers. I understand I missed this recognition, but former legislator and current Rochester City Council member Willie Lightfoot was with us. So I just want to thank him for spending some time in chambers with us today. And we will now proceed with the consideration of local laws. Will the clerk please read the first item on the agenda?
Madam President,
Yes, Leader Udelson.
I move that we consider the agenda as a whole with the exception of item number 13 and the MOUs 24 through 27.
Thank you.
I second that.
Moved by Legislator Udelson, second by Legislator Brew. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We will now move on to item number 13.
Item number 13, referral 25-0287, authorizing contracts with Equally Balanced Therapy and Wellness, the University of Rochester Medical Center, Mount Hope Family Center, the University of Rochester Medical Center Public Health Sciences Department, and the United Way of Greater Rochester and the Finger Lakes to provide maternal and child health services from Monroe County Department of Public Health.
Move it.
Second. Moved by legislator Mafucci, seconded by legislator Bartholomew McCoy. Is there any discussion?
No.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Legislator Barnhart.
Thank you. I would just like to explain my vote.
Yes.
Thank you very much to the administration for providing very detailed answers to the questions that I asked in Ways and Means. That was very helpful. I just wanted to point something out for the public record and for my colleagues. I have made an issue of this in the past about the lack of detail in our transmittal letters, in our packets, to help us be informed and help the public be informed on what exactly we are voting on. The contract with United Way for almost $2 million, I think it's really important that people understand what this is really about. This $2 million will be funding home visitations to newborns, which you know, but the ultimate goal is to create a universal home visitation program in Monroe County that would be funded by insurance. And this funding is a demonstration project to prove to the insurance companies that this has positive impacts and to build the infrastructure so that an organization, presumably the United Way, would keep this going. That's not what the transmittal letter says. You wouldn't have any of that detail if you didn't go read the application for this funding or sit through Ways and Means. And the public doesn't have access to the answers to the questions that we get via email. So I just wanted to put that on record. Thank you all for your work on this, and I will be voting yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Legislator Long.
I'd just like to declare my interest, please.
Okay, no problem. Any other discussion? Legislator Hasman.
Thank you, President Roman. I'd also like to declare my interest.
No problem. Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 24, referral 25-0323, authorizing various budget appropriations transfers related to 2025 operating budget.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Udelson, second by legislator, moved by legislator Mafucci, my apologies, second by legislator Udelson. Is there any discussion? Legislator Barnhart.
Yes, thank you. As you know, for the last couple years, I've made a big issue out of transferring funding out of the safety net, millions of dollars of leftover funds into other accounts. That's not happening this quarter, and I'd like to understand why. Is it because there won't be projected funds left over from safety net, or is it perhaps because of the pending impact of the federal budget?
Through me.
Through the president to the administration. Thank you.
Thank you.
Through the president, the budget transfers that are being done were contemplated because with using different funds because we had leftover appropriations in the budget office and the controller's office for staff that we didn't hire or fill positions. So we chose to do these transfers from those funds instead of moving it out of safety net.
Thank you. Through the president to the administration, will you have significant safety net funds left at the end of the year? Is that the projection or not?
Through the president, I don't know the projection as of today. There are certainly probably some leftover appropriations, but I don't think they're going to be significant.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 25, referral 25-0324, authorizing 2 settlement agreements in opioid-related litigation regarding Purdue Pharma, case number 19-23649, U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of New York, and in regards to National Prescription Opiate litigation number 2804, U.S. District Court for the Northern District of Ohio.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, second by legislator Udelson. Is there any discussion? Legislator Vasquez Simmons.
I'd just like to declare my interest.
Okay, thank you. Any other? Legislator Barnhart.
Yes, thank you. I would just like to explain my vote. First, thank you to the administration and to the law department for securing these important dollars that will go into our opioid settlement trust fund. On April 8th, on this floor, I asked the administration for details on how we have spent those funds and how we plan to spend those funds going forward. I did not receive an answer. Vice President Vasquez Simmons and I then wrote a letter about a month ago, asking for this information, to which we received a response today, and staff can provide that letter to the respective caucuses. I didn't explicitly ask for a line item list of expenditures in a spreadsheet. I assumed that's what I would be getting, but that is not what was provided. Instead, a helpful list of general categories was provided, but I think a list of expenditures via line item would be very helpful. So I'm again going to make that request, and perhaps this legislature needs to implement a disclosure requirement for how we are using these funds. Because you see, the problem here is that we don't have an oversight board of how these funds are spent. It's at the administration's discretion. This legislature only votes on funds that come out of those settlement dollars if it involves a professional service contract, and we don't even vote on all of those. So I think there's a real lack of transparency into how settlement dollars are being used, not alleging anything wrong, but more transparency is better. And there are community members asking about these funds who want to provide input. This is still a problem in our community, and I think that we have to do a lot better going forward, especially getting millions of dollars more into these accounts. So I will be voting yes, and I hope that we can work together on more transparency and public input on how these dollars are used. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 26, referral 25-0325, confirming appointment to the Monroe County Water Authority.
Move it.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, second by legislator Udelson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. Next item.
Item number 27, referral 25-0326, confirming appointments to the Monroe County Planning Board.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by legislator Mafucci, second by legislator Udelson. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Item carries. There being no unfinished business, legislator Udelson.
Madam President, before adjourning, I would just like to say under, I guess, other business, I know you joined me and other legislators have been dismayed by the outburst earlier today, and would request that you consult with the law department about the possibility of banning Mr. Lockhart from future meetings. Thank
Perfect.
you.
Thank you.
And with that,
Second.
I will move that we adjourn until 6 p.m. on Wednesday, November 12th.
All right, thank you. Meeting adjourned.